야, 오케이, 이나, 들어요, 왜?
Hallo, jo.
건도와,
Acordo.
나 치러 어디?
Oh, chilonida. Tini.
삼방고, 해.
Oh, ni
어스도 왜 진도,
tudo tingsan namshi.
남피 양원도.
Sampatore.
카파난 투디오, 카파난 투디오, 거의 미지 상대, 자자 요마와.
Ori, ri, ri.
야,
Sampa sampa
드네,
tare.
아, 아,
Konso kotso tare ve. Sampa.
레레, 응,
Mm.
야, 드네, 제치다, share prayer book,
Is it a prayer book?
dollar, domara, chibe, dra, nobara, chibe, gay, tarwa, tamchi, chembe, kwatu, jubara, chiba, tamchi, eje, zu, chibe, ma, namka, tanyambe, simchen, tamchi, dewa, tangdi, dungar, tangchi, nyordu, lana, mibara, yang, tabara, zobe, changchu, rinpoche, Tobara chai dala damara chibe chai nobara chibe ke tarwa tam tamchi chem warzu jubara chiba tamchi je zu chibe ma namka tam nyabe semchen tamchi deva tam den dungara tam chi nyurtu lana miba yang tabara zobe changchu rinpo che tobara cha English.
All other sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and omniscience, may they experience happiness, be separated from suffering, and swiftly will I establish them in a state of unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious Buddhahood.
Ti chi tu sang ma ji ji par tu nu nga yi song ge pa la kur ma xie par tu nu nga yi song ge pa la kur tu ten ne song de ni ma sang ta ya zam ji par tu nu nga yi song ge pa la kur
Thus, until I achieve enlightenment, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. Until death, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. From now until this time tomorrow, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind.
예, 하나는 직사 통계 통계 쇼들의 순수 제제부터 예분경 세진 한보다 지게 쇼들 영의 전환 장한서로도 제장들로 나로도 마음을 주지고 포모 주가 제반 공부까지 너만은 먼저 소반데 전에 이제 벌써 좀 너만은 정적선에 대해서 만나는 거 알고 나 편반 오늘 아들 샤라서 반데 나오자더니 정표 마도 버지 바르죠 섬제념에 조용히 정적 성정 정적 심지 신동 지발의 쇼지와 군도 양도 너만한 데니 최제별로 조제 사람 남지 연타 버전 창게 공판요 저 드네 다 들어봐他和整体军务节送性别大的送你做吧总吧结果是这吧结巴的人多过不求救是结巴的
The Godi Pöken alla karriere.
军务节送性别大的
Okay.
送你做吧了总吧结果是
Okay.
我结巴的吧
Yeah. So now we are on verse number 8 within the 10 necessary things. And it says, you need to constantly exert yourself in gathering the two accumulations by embracing them with the preliminary, main, and concluding stages.
我真他就是吧是真过怎么样的也是过怎么吧我那他那么就不要是吧今年就才完就才对我在就是吧在在开情报我就开情报第三嘛才是今天去吧看一那里看他妈怎么的想车震的我去个吧我在那一的休息呢在那里要不这他们车的要不我们接来着要不着不要航片头要吧我才对我在过来点把天就去过的是我真的在南球呢他把这块钱不南皮这些钱吧两边去啊开钱不的也是就是吧我着他车震的讲着的钱他身体的人把身体去过着的也是这块钱不讲着的那对我这里有的时间上啊，今天中午去公厕呢， 남는 참치 투제 냠내 고송으로 남는 참치 투제 냠내 고서 남는 바시 성아 투제 남는 치투래 좀 여보 요래 종으로 我这期天呢，我这个甚至在让动头呢，行动起下的是我去行动起下，行动有些这些的不的是就是说是的。
Okay. So there is the beginning, the middle, and the end. And so this is saying that our practice must have a beginning, middle, and end. So it must have all the stages, and we have to follow them in the right order. So first, the beginning are the preliminary practices. The main part is the actual practice we do. And then the conclusion is the various concluding activities of that practice. And so we need to have the right order. And that is important on the path of Mahayana practice, but in particular in the Vajrayana practice. It is like kind of like a preparation where you have everything in place. You have your path set out, and then you follow it step by step. And Trikden Songdan said in the Gongchik that all practice, all like stages of practice must be complete within a single session. So the beginning, middle, and end must be complete, contained in a single session. And then in the Mahayana path, then the practice that we actually engage in must be done with the benefit of others in mind.
我当过一次肯定的其他开始先到楼单，在这边进步那么什么在东半年那所公样，因为小娃的在这种同他们的工作，这种两年其他这种这些是那种东半年让们在控制起啊，我这里跑恰恰这边这里是到楼了。当我确实呢，这个说，也他们今年公样他说把的，这样在先把那路在拉玛公样中，恰在新公样中有了哇，我听着认识的，我这大街头看的是呢，这里是。他在给我说说大的嘛种话去呢，我先把它我话去呀，我给我去的嘛种我话去呢，我在说可别的去要不推呀，那么这里面吧，但你让他说这个公方推呀嘛，身边他们总是上街特别去呢，我没发现，我这里可以谈吧种，就是说身体谈吧，我秘密谈吧，他的我话谈吧，想这里去到谈吧种的这些事吧，我去下这里去，然后给进步的是。
So first there's this motivation that is for the sake of others. And then the actual main practice, if it is a practice of the Mahayana, it must be a practice where we meditate on the nature of emptiness, the non-dual state of emptiness, and the twofold bodhicitta, the relative and the ultimate bodhicitta. In the Vajrayana, that means we practice the guru, for example, or we meditate, resting in the nature of the mind, or we practice Mahamudra, and so all those various practices. And then at the end, the conclusion is that we should not try to own, kind of claim ownership to the virtues that we have produced, but to give it away to others. And we should not do it for the sake of any samsaric ordinary happiness, but for the benefit of all sentient beings. And so some people refer to these three stages as three excellences, three excellent kind of practice as stages. So they call it the excellent preparation, the excellent main practice, and the excellent conclusion. They call it excellent due to its importance.
我真的在中东北去从我的种多给我扛起讲，就把强求先放，上不强求先不过来，我一跑到清吧出子当点把起过什么跑清楚不的嘛，就我吧强求对我说的上街他们去， 就做把它讲究的我是面头上节特别在等我把去过来是，我这其他的呢，爬到去把它在就忙不送我的，听到嘛就来要嘛的，始终都没抽中我的是。
And Dom had said that whatever virtue you practice, whatever good you do, always start out with a motivation of bodhicitta. And then during your practice, the practice itself let bodhicitta drive you. And in the end, dedicate for all beings with bodhicitta. And so really whatever you engage in, whatever practice you do, there are many different Dharma teachings, he said, but there is not a single teaching that is not contained within just that. That's really all it is.
我在中东吧是，然后还有些名呢，中东吧是的，就就把那的下落嘛做我才真的在的，搞他们现在做的人家做空了哇。
So for those who are not familiar with Dromdonba, so Dromdonba was a main disciple, a principal disciple of Lord Atisha, and at that time belonged to the Kadampa lineage.
我等他这到你们俩去的，但你什么他点不过你这，所以说美国要不请等那个他这一把等你们俩去过的是，没去去他弄下一说给我，比如说那么错杂的是，明明的，以及给我的，给我一些错杂的是，错那把你蛮对的他，要马上提上错那把你对的是，等那我马上想听话是，听到开始是说我是，手机可能多的呢，说那么错的用。so que todo son absolutamente chuji con el dor de ya voy a decir son es son es son lo
Rin Shin Cheng Wat Ti No Due.
todo no ma den chen ma les de no shora sum sum de ya ti de lo
So dünn, okay.
ti de
Oh ja. Das war so eine, oh ja. So so then the actual main part of the practice that when we engage in the actual main practice, and then we should do so. We should focus our practice on the profound key point of the practice. So your practice must possess this key point. You must see the key point, and then when you have that key point, then anything virtuous that you do with mainly body and speech is called an accumulation of merit. And then any virtue that you practice that is non-conceptual, a mind virtue, is referred to as the accumulation of wisdom. And again, there's no practice that is not included within that. So all practice that we do really consists of that, the union of the accumulation of method and wisdom. And in the Madhyamaka text called the Precious Garland, the cover to Kunshin Chengwa de verse it.
lo drop song lo drop song
Drop or the go the car sung with
这个我马上想听嘛嘞，手机功能多的呢，说那么些说那么错的就我的是，手机功能多的呢，就不会些错的就是。
Oh yeah. So then in that sutra and so a text, a commentary on the Madhyamaka by Nagarjuna, it says that so there's the Rupakaya and the Dharmakaya. The Rupakaya is the form kaya, the form emanation. So the form body or form emanation in brief is from the form emanation, the form kaya arises from the accumulation of merit, and the Dharmakaya in brief arises from the accumulation of wisdom.
我真的，他这种多，他陈述起的他军这那路， 吧？它是就这个内容因为它错那把你比过来，错你比过来是呢，听这个在参巴过年，就瞧来他那边那个来是，我看那节目的昨天你有了这把你，我听你不节目是做那么错的，做那个来是节昨天这一些错中用的是，我这从你出去的你们他推肯定拿去过来是。这都你写别个，那你们去过的种多的，这种那么做过的。
mhm. And so these two must be practiced in union, and that is important because of the relationship between cause and effect, the nature of cause and effect. If because of a cause leads to an effect, it is necessary to make an effort in the two accumulations, and so these two kayas, the Rupa Kaya and the Dharma Kaya, and they really are the ultimate kind of culmination of those effect of these two accumulations. And according to the Vajrayana, the accumulation of merit and wisdom leads to generation and completion. So the generation stage is accomplished through the accumulation of merit, and the completion stage is the perfection of the accumulation of wisdom. And so these two, generation and completion, merit and wisdom need to go hand in hand, need to be in union, and we must never go beyond that. We must always practice having the two accumulations as our kind of key, our essence of that practice.
但几天中共去按照我以前做的是，这了长不，他就是把强调产品，就是把强调产品，千万可能去哪，他们去我同志吧，这里强调产品过来是，我在强调相当金巴东西呢，他金巴东嘛这，我在跑到金巴出新州，甚至是呢，金巴东西我知道金巴去，我出钱不中嘛的，我在金巴出钱不中嘛，我这金巴东嘛出钱不中嘛。但为呢，给我看的，呢，我是这强调什么都要看清楚的也是，强调你什么我说呢，真的跑到清白抽，我的清白抽我这年来期间呢，我真没我的是结束这个送用他呗，我话这怎么做呢？千万客气呢，那那上街图标就求个的是，我在求街他说就把空房子都出去送有的也是。
And Jiten Somgan had said that we always must practice anything that we do must have a beginning, middle, and end. The beginning is the preparation, and that must be bodhicitta. He said that if you have bodhicitta, whatever you do will become wholesome. For example, if you practice any of the 6 paramitas like generosity, if you have bodhicitta, if you practice generosity with bodhicitta, you naturally accomplish generosity. And the same goes for ethical discipline and the rest. So whatever good you do, it always must come from a place of bodhicitta. And then, so that would be then the main practice. So first you have bodhicitta, and then you practice any of the paramitas. And then in the end, he said that you must dedicate that virtue with perfectly pure dedication prayer. Then if these 3 steps are complete, then whatever virtue you have done will become a cause for attaining enlightenment.
真的差不多不送我的上节期别去，咱们在开始呢，咱马诺吧，唱了马诺吧，开始过来是，咱们唱了马诺吧，这看一下那他，就是吧，他我去接种唱完这了，写了吧，也是，这开始过来是，这样差不多就是吧，那看着是，他身边他们带娃唱的，东亚唱这，左边上一错不下，伢们身边我当过来是，我一在开始呢，这期呢，他跑到新巴州当天把是过来是，咱们写过来是。我接过来，他说进抽，咱们接过来是，他呢，他张伯杰了，卡拉杰的，然后他金巴上呢，金巴在我婆的，金巴的是，他跑到金巴抽那了，我婆金下在金巴的是，金巴当的是，西巴的吧在，别南角的也不点，对呀，这是出钱的是。 남조人把马天些남조小我要不点会进把当下子了出成这些老没去办都讲我这在老看体给家要不没了都不能拉皮了可是给家都把没做不着拉皮对吧老没讲看给家你不知道有些个嘛吧可是我这人有么没去说说有么没去吧现当中这些呢说把这些我在老没讲呢等就不怕地动呀这专注这些我真的强把你这强求先给人怎么送的呢这蛮人话，他提中不是两年前的蛮人话，点那这上天的是，这他妈这可是龙看呢的，等看呢，我和上天就，他们那么就嘛的不写吧，这可是我们这些吧，这写了的是，我真的我一碰到新吧，抽他点吧，写过来是两两过来是，接着我啊，咱可说秘密，我为这些新吧，他们那个人，但我吧没写秘密可以呢，我吧写呢，这才就现在，这他们今年你看看。那也马抓吧，咱们接他明明我话其他的说的，这几个人
Gampopa said that so this is the unmistaken path of the Buddhas, the way to Buddhahood. It's the beginning, the middle, and the end. It's really crucial to have those three together to attain enlightenment. So is that first there's the preparation, and that is to pray for the happiness of all sentient beings, for the sentient beings to be free from suffering, and for sentient beings to attain complete enlightenment. So that has to be there first. And then next, in the middle, and when you do the actual practice, you should follow the path of the 6 paramitas. And then in the end, during the conclusion, you completely give away your virtue. For example, if you give, and also when you practice one act like generosity, you complete the act by actually practicing the 6 paramitas within one act. So how does that look like when you, for example, give something to a beggar, a poor person? So when you give them food, for example, that giving, that's generosity. And then there's a way of giving it. If you do so with a friendly face, you're nice and friendly to them, that's ethical discipline. And then also you don't insult them verbally. There's some people, they look down on like beggars, and they may say something really unkind to them, something harsh. So they may give something, but then they're still a little bit like humiliating them. And so not to be like that, but to be patient with them, and to not feel no hostility, and that is patience. And then to not delay, but to give them quickly when you can, that's diligence. And then to remain unwavering from your love and your compassion is meditation. And then in the end, you must realize that you who gives and the recipient of your offering and the object that you're giving are all illusory and do not really inherently exist. So this is wisdom, the wisdom that transcends the 3 spheres. And then in the end, when you dedicate, you also dedicate with this wisdom transcending the 3 spheres. So that's the non-conceptual dedication. Or you can also do a conceptual meditation. And so ideally, you dedicate within the state of great equanimity where everything is non-dual.
我当下去落地都你妈才的这大的是，
你们差不多。
那我当时第一次的你妈就知道有么了。
Yeah, Durban is outside in Arizona, and it's a little bit hot.
但是你妈才有么了，他才3周多啊。
Oh, it was not so hot before, but now it's just getting hotter and hotter.
他这里在国外是吧？强把的你结果什么就呢？身体中了乐趣吧，结果是吧？他这强把的你结头开心不了吧？强把的只有他身体通气了，我上就我现在那个说就来说在我家些上面呢，就来讲的 심지어 편도야 섬노스 그리나 로 동고래 용리다 로 초바세 고스 챵바세는 다 바로라 셈제바다 챵바세 닝제세는 바로 볼 동아 다 제동나고 어제 닝제 셈트레스.
And then next is verse number 9. You need to turn your mind toward helping other beings with loving kindness and compassion, both directly and indirectly. So love and compassion, as we know, are really most important in our practice for anyone. So it's important to always have it so that you are ready to help others when the time comes, when you can help them. So it's basically a wish of always wanting to help others, other sentient beings. And that really has to always be present in your mind. So whether you so directly or indirectly. So directly is when you actually can help them. Indirectly is when you can't directly help them, but you still have that wish to help them. So you're always ready to help them. And so loving kindness is the love for sentient beings, and then the compassion feels grief when others suffer.
我他现在培养多呀，这么多当呀，他就当个从几天没抽呢，是这个培养多呀，这也挺忙不有吧？啊，几天没抽，可这么有的是，他怕的，这块进步呢，这个没他没不是，差的是公法啊，但公法我是今天什么节呀，上把上步买钱吧节呀，节把的每年把节呀，所说考虑呢就很重要。我真的每年把光的空配吧，我节呀，我听点有的是。但如果对吧，他等下什么的什么东，他钱把的吧，钱别钱的。동아나바 통은 심지어 저기 동아로 친구 저 동아로 초선 잠깐만 저 동아 친구도 저 상당히 다마 저데 인기 뭐 그런 거 같아서 저 동아 체인스는 어서 다니 인기 살와 어제 심지어 그나 편바 내가 라나미바 또 받다 창조 셈리 저한테 심지어 다주 상제 공방 토비안도 받다 창조 셈스 어제现在偏被强把这娃子真主要估计伊拉这些人不抽有的是，我主要这些人不对，真强人的说啥的话，你有的是，这些人不用那他应该说那个吧，就当强人家他有的是，这些人不身边虽然那有的是，我做这他讲看着我的，他说在读书前的这个的话身边没做，那就这样他说那这个人家的有的说说给在部分中的三大中，这玩意有的是，我的这些人不其他的，其实没来就有嘛的意思。我这里当然是身边上班的偏把主要在这里提拔全部什么是吧？我这上班上班有问题，这主要个培养是什么那里吧？这里过来是，我们咱几天没去见，那么上班，但说是平时要不我们上班在中央的，那看说说的那这，他要不吃个了吧？这去了为呢？这前半年，你看，可是没在要不都可别上班，那不个让俺说。呀，这种这类是的，你看去了为那强的这种常见老三这种样样去特别的开心不的这种多。
And so we always must have this wish to benefit others, and so that is even something that's also considered very important in a mundane, a worldly sense. It's not just a dharma thing to do. And even in the world, if there's someone that is very nice and people like that person, but it's particularly important in the practice of the Mahayana. So it's to have loving kindness and compassion means to cultivate this good heart for others. And once it is there, you must not allow it to decline, and you must increase it higher and higher. And love, again, is that mind that wants sentient beings, all beings, to be happy. And compassion is the mind that wants sentient beings to be free from suffering. The altruistic mind is that mind that wants to help all sentient beings. It wants them to achieve the highest, greatest happiness. And that is that intention, that wish is the cause for true bodhicitta to arise. So love and compassion are also qualities that everyone possesses, at least to some extent, and that is because of Buddha nature. Because we have Buddha nature, every being possesses at least some love and compassion, even very vicious beings. For example, a wolf, for example, might be very vicious and kill many other animals, but they will look after their own pups. They have some love and they have compassion, at least for their own. And so that is a sign of Buddha nature. We all have that within us. And so, not even in a mundane sense, in the ordinary world, that is something that's very important. For example, when we know of someone who has a really good heart, a really good person, we speak about that person. We say, oh, they are so wonderful. They have such a good heart. So even temporarily, it's of so much benefit. And of course, ultimately, it is of the greatest benefit. And so therefore, it is that we should make a consistent effort in always reminding ourselves of this good intention to develop a good heart within ourselves.
咱这人没就的了，那他没就强制有被拖，上步没就强制在用了，提拖了，他这产品出口了，小呢，先上步拉过来，先上步做拉，先上步他的你嘛，说强制有了，他也空头当呀，我这强说先头拉不过来，等地方进步那边冲突提前去，拉不拉是，他地方进步，强说先当这边那么这种提前去拉不过来是，我这先边先地说的，我这先边怎么当过的，先边他这身边产品上级图要怎么当过去了。我在康托，也都他年来去过这个康托，不到他年来去过，俺说他就年来养的养在康托到期间的是，可不是吃的是上班上班的强说先，强你就强说现在空头做这个的话，我曾经去过的是，我在俺妈妈就身边有嘛的是，我在身边他们一个呢，他前把的在外全国，他前在的开钱包的，真的前在的店那的。咱们唐伯的身边的对吧？两咱们的马在外有吧的，咱身边的马一。我前把的听点穷些了嘛，这什么他的马一把些呢？这马这个的进步一把，这点前把的，我这我这前把接的前把的这人接给了，这里强说是接给了，这强说是像美国的是，这让别人选了手贴把起过的，这让别人选了这手见特别，选了前面就是工作当特别，我来听着起过的是，我真的在起他们的很多进步有的，可是呢。在咱们来听到俺做前面的马当地的了吧？前面的这群众的当说嘛，这没在这以前没做，但咱们的强着说让俺说，听到这没在说这样都要，咱们的群众都是没在这以前没来，在前面的是穷差，我这就强着说，这我想的是，所以说前面的强说什么在贴上呢，真的想了前把这样成就有的是，没哪里把这个嘛你想做在那手里的。我听这你妈在讲，你想是啥家的？我你想，他来修的了。你妈在我们家的东北是吧？七个人是过的吧？叫他这里等于这块地从这里，可能拿上把送过他那的，小娃那伙是，他的宠物多，小娃猛拿的说啥，就是这。他小娃现当时宠物多，没那这边过的，咱们上小娃嘛年的，没那这边，咱们这是大学的对吧？提前起码不是，等宠物都给家在用的，这没那这边过的，那的。这我记得，可得了没来的片子在大伙来的那小娃诺巴基嘛，我没来就确在小娃你确在没来，他的前几年多，我真的提前他没得钱就有的，他说，其通常的时候啦，的可上么的当有没人对上把可给的上，这没来的把这些，没人能给下他们可给的是，通常的时候可的是，可楼上给下啊。
哦。
小娃子那这前年给老百姓说嘛，那可能没来的也用年底了吧？这说那这是偏多多，这没那不给钱了，也国家的咱们的钱就用给的咱们来的。现在没这两多，现没这了，比这两个去弄说的，没来的把弄大叫这，真大学是啥个？叫咱那阳明眼眼界都是啥的？阳明呢？可看的那这千万当研究是啥的，看的那上都可打起，你嘛大头就去学嘛用上。 在呢，你那吃的小娃你不，你对现场这个，这里你也都要，来了我这没弄啥。我这个没来这个直播呢，大西西咱们来这个直播呢送多，
Dr. C，
大西西没来这个直播呢送多个。
嗯
这没来这边之后呢，相对真的先一看路着我在买套老马着我，跟着买啥呀看呀么多，
嗯
晓得买的没来这边才把修，现在没来这边土设计那些其他我们都是掐是吧？那做的强你的这些，这什么现象？修建设个么小娃的，其实都在罗山没几都是没来这边让年头嘛，这没来这边话强你的修起毛的，这才是太不了的，从嘛都往这堆是吧？我真的，我从头吃来参起了，参起修出来结果的有种多。我在健康写的别了，就是说在健康他经常说在草嘛在强尼节在怕切片期，所以就强尼节有现在这个休闲贴对呀，在要不在穷呢这你咱们来节课草嘛在写的别的强尼节我们在那在当个嘛的在我国当个嘛的在一些些啊，这个有个话，现在这时候这些情况的多。
嗯嗯so so in the text it says therefore it's essential for us to cultivate loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta. And with that as a basis, then we set out on the path of Mahayana practice. We then learn from a guru to explain the path to us. So often when we come to the Dharma, then we first come with this intention. We want to do good for others. And so that is the essence of altruism, is the wish to benefit others, ultimately to bring all others to the state of enlightenment. And so that is a practice that we must persist in, persevere in. So if you keep just doing it over and over again, eventually it will become a habit. You habituate to it. And as a result of habit, your love and compassion, your bodhicitta will grow. And so as a way to cultivate bodhicitta is to see that all sentient beings have been your parents, your mothers. And we first cultivate love if we remember, we recognize the kindness of our mothers. When you think of the kindness of your mother, love arises. And then from love arises compassion, naturally. And from that arises bodhicitta. And also, so once we have that state of mind, we can actually also, through the power of our own mind, help others cultivate bodhicitta. We can also cause bodhicitta to arise in others, and that should be the aim, actually. Because especially nowadays, we know that there is not enough love in the world. Everyone has love, but it is too small nowadays. And because we do not have enough love, people have all kinds of negative ideas of what they will do to each other. They kill each other, they abuse each other, and so forth. And we do have an ability to plant bodhicitta in others' minds through the power of our own mind. And so therefore, this is something that we should sort of make our mission to install a kind of cause bodhicitta to arise in the minds of others. For example, there's this story of by Milarepa, who was once meditating in Nishang. He was staying in a state of samadhi, and then he heard a dog barking. And at first he thought that maybe his samadhi was disturbed, as some kind of obstacle to his samadhi. So then he looked, and then he saw this deer. This deer running by, frightened, and Milarepa thought that there must be something very angry following that deer. It looks so frightened, and he felt so much compassion for that deer. And because the deer felt his compassion, it sat down next to him on his right side and listened to his dharma. And so it stayed there. And so Milarepa then contemplated that normally an animal doesn't stay and listen to the Dharma. Normally they run away from humans, but he thought that if this is possible, then it should also be possible for humans to listen to that, for humans to benefit from that. If even an animal can be tamed, can be calmed down. And so as he contemplated this in this way, finally an angry dog came, and the angry dog also sat down next to him. But the deer and the dog both sat down. And
치다 더 샤바니 뭐다리 고래 나라 철대는 그나 셈시대 차네
yeah.
뭐다리 이온이로 왔다고
And so how it happened is that so the dog and the deer both came, and so first the deer was running away from the dog, and then Milarepa sang a song for each animal, and for the deer, and then or the dog, and then the dog sat down calmly, and then to the deer, and then the deer calmed down, was no longer afraid, and then they both sat left and right of Milarepa and listened to him. And Milarepa thought this is incredible that animals can be so affected by the Dharma. And so then very soon, the hunter, the owner of that dog, followed, and he was extremely angry. And
주 가르치서 생에 치다 샤바니 가르치서 된다 저러지도
because he saw the dog sitting there all docile, and he thought that what did you do to my dog? He's supposed to catch the deer. And then he got so angry that he shot an arrow at Milarepa, but the arrow missed. And so then he started to wonder about Milarepa. And so then he thought maybe I should look more into this person. I'm going to investigate him or see what he's about. So he followed him to his practice cave, and there he found nothing really, just some nettles, some grass and so to eat, but there was no sustenance, nothing there. And that's how he lived. And he was quite amazed by how Milarepa was able to live. And so eventually he realized that Milarepa had kind of overpowered the dog with his great compassion, and he developed great devotion to Milarepa, and he regretted all his negative deeds. And so this is just a story to show that with love and compassion we can kind of overpower anything or anyone, any being. We can bring them under control. And so, for example, in this world, if first of all you cultivate love, and then you are able to spread that love to others, and they cultivate love, then what kind of world would it be? All the countries would get along. No one would cheat each other. There would be no conflict. There would be no distrust, no harm. So we can see how important it is.
저이송에
so.
전에 티바 진보 다장아 냠나 지년이나 다 참니게 창조선 많이 거래서 창조 셈의 동의 이당 란 지天中我中国창조 셈의 중의 이당 하스 我这那也的장아在많이强3天참니게 3天미나 나要不 drop to 嘛的是等前辈这句呢开始中我身去年堂的那个都不来是去年不看的是呢창조 셈의没通话창조 셈的怕嘛通话去甚至甚至强用起啊我这他去年不才的是然后就从他的那我就把用做什么看的是呢甚至用什么通话他就快点多창조 셈의出现不动吧送啊我出现不动吧这种用什么通话用什么通话提把东西把你们起过来用说啥吧
And so for the practice of the Mahayana, that love and compassion is the essence of Mahayana practice. And then Thich Sumgön said it also is the essence of Vajrayana practice because the Yidam deity arises from bodhicitta. And so he said that if you, in the Vajrayana, if you do not have the foundation or the ground of love and compassion, then no yidam or no virtue can grow from that. Nothing will be accomplished. The Vajrayana will not be accomplished. And then it is said in the Manjushri root tantra that if you have two dharmas mantra will be accomplished. And what are these two dharmas? It is to never give up on bodhicitta, number one, and secondly, it is to kind of view all sentient beings equally. And then he said, if you possess three dharmas, the Vajrayana activity, the tantric activities will be perfected. And what are the three dharmas? It is to never forsake a sentient being. Then it is to practice a perfect discipline, ethical discipline of a bodhisattva, the discipline of a bodhisattva, to hold the disciplined vow of a bodhisattva. And thirdly, to never forsake one's personal mantra, so one's kind of one's personal mantra.
저는 다른 것도 좀 동백 제종을 다 뭐지 가서는 nga ke nupa di so na tene nga ke nupa di so na ti kala da da nga ke nupa chu qin bo na chang shu xian min sang jie tu ma le zong de wo zhe zhen zhi xa de chang shu xian min sang jie tu ma le is.
And then Dom Dumpa again said that if you do not possess bodhicitta, even if your tantric practice is very powerful, if it lacks bodhicitta, you will not attain enlightenment.
我等几天钟给开始钟是左边上街头呀，在咱们亲戚马路吧，在前把的人家强调些意思，我在那天光过的也是，在让些娘把让些结巴有了，他让些娘把让些结巴了，说三把穷就是在那龙牙一送，千万节期间，咱跑到去把抽了那天去呢，娘是当过的中多。
And Jigten Sumgön said that the unmistaken path to complete enlightenment is bodhicitta, love, compassion, bodhicitta, and therefore persevere in it and practice it by equalizing self with others and exchanging self with others, or putting others before self. Make an effort in practicing the 6 paramitas in whatever you do with body, speech, and mind.
这几天呢，大前上面呢，他这是我们家个吧？
When we stop,
这啥子电关注呢？基本的话，等一下。
we stop here and we meditate, but Ruben wants to show you the place. It's in Arizona. It's really beautiful.
那公车嘛，没当了吧？
It rained a lot last night.
那个参观去。
This is Ruben's retreat hut.
真的，他别躺，不是别上我，就当你对那上我不去了，到了上我不多嘛躺。
And normally it's not very green, but now it's really green.
参观先把这是多。
It's another retreat hut.
这几天呢，当然是第一次我们家饮食吧。
So now we meditate for a bit.
我呀，真的的这里给些几点钟写起，都6点钟的这里给些写是，这落相当于一头。
Glorious, holy, venerable, precious, kind, root and lineage lamas, divine assembly of yidams and assemblies of Buddhas, bodhisattvas, yogins, yoginis, and dakinis dwelling in the 10 directions, please hear my prayer. May the virtues collected in the 3 times by myself and all sentient beings in samsara and nirvana and the innate root of virtue not result in the 8 worldly concerns, the 4 causes of samsara, or rebirth as a Shravaka or Pratyeka Buddha. May all mother sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me and mine, obstructors who harm, misleading Maras, and the hordes of demons experience happiness, be separated from suffering, and swiftly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious Buddhahood. By the power of this vast root of virtue, may I benefit all beings through my body, speech, and mind. May the afflictions of desire, hatred, ignorance, arrogance, and jealousy not arise in my mind. May attachment to fame, reputation, wealth, honor, and concern for this life not arise for even a moment. May my mind stream be moistened by loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta, and through that may I become a spiritual master with good qualities equal to the infinity of space. May I gain the supreme attainment of Mahamudra in this very life. May the torment of suffering not arise at the time of my death. May I not die with negative thoughts. May I not die confused by wrong view. May I not experience an untimely death. May I die joyfully and happily in the great luminosity of mind as such and the pervading clarity of Dharmata. May I, in any case, gain the supreme attainment of Mahamudra at the time of death or in the bardo.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank
真的都节气，
you. 다 잠들어라.
네, 참 지나, 나 나도 지라디, 너네 배자다고 막, 다 받쳐 그러다. Yeah, okay, see you next week.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Chupola. See you next week.
Thank you. See you next week. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.